Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video. Today we'll be reviewing the open testing of Nethros. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. But yeah, this is a new RPG style like Deep Broken that is on the platform. It's currently in open testing and I have some interesting opinions about it. But let's get into the video. So first of all, the customization, as you can see on the background footage, is honestly alright. I really like the fact that every race feels unique in its customization. I purchased a reroll to see how another race looks like, and it genuinely shocks me how much detail there is in these races and the customization in general. I hope it expands further on the faces and outfits later on, but for now, it looks really good. I ended up getting some bull race in the end, which I decided to use the fist class with. I hope it's a class or it's a weapon. I don't understand exactly. It's not really explained very well whether or not it's a class or if it's a weapon. After you're creating your character, or you finish creating your character, you get this screen where you're supposed to choose between two factions. I don't know what the difference is. It's not told what the difference is. It looks like it's a morale thing. I went into this fully blind and I didn't do any of my research, so I ended up choosing the New Avalon faction. I hope this is the beginner faction because I really don't know. I think that they should like tell you, hey, this is what this does and this is what that does without having to go to a Trello. So when you spawn in, you're bombarded with 4 UIs and a journal that you get a pop-up for. I genuinely love the journal. It keeps tracks of everything, including brewing, quests, new little like areas, anything is in there. There's also a beginner guide that I suggest y'all do end up reading. After talking to some NPCs, I figured out there is a pointer that leads you to this NPC that'll give you the first quests for the game. And after talking with him, he'll give you a few more like locations to go through to talk to new people who will teach you the game itself. And I think this is a lot better than normal standard tutorials, and I really love that. Something I am very confused about and that the game doesn't really teach you is leveling up. I might have overlooked this, I don't know, but I genuinely had a hard time finding where to level up. Because I thought you had to meditate and put in some skill points. That didn't end up working, but it was apparently in tab. When you click tab, there's like a small little thing that's like level up. I guess, alright. I think the game should have pointed it out a bit more, but that's a nitpick. I genuinely think that's a nitpick, so don't worry about that. I also found this guard that was like laying on the floor unconscious. I don't know what's up on that, but hey, confusing. I thought it was a quest, but yeah. Now I'm gonna compliment the game before I start commenting on what I dislike about it. But something I really like about the game is its movement. It feels really fresh and really smooth, even at the end. I'll put up a clip real quick. You can see I was like, just for the fun of it, scaling the outside of the map, and it allows you to do whatever you want, the movement system, and it feels really fresh and nice to be actually fast in a world where normally in games it's a working simulator and you're quite slow. Another thing I really like about the game is its leaderboard being constantly up. Not a lot of people might think, hey, I don't like this. I actually do like it because a lot of the times what I see in games is where the leaderboard is hidden and you can't see what everyone is and you can't see how many people there are on a server. And in this game, you actually can, and it feels like you're actually playing an MMORPG, because normally in MMORPGs you can see the server list really easily. So yeah. Another thing I find quite funny is the smithing system. At first, it was kinda... I didn't understand how it worked, but then when I started learning that I have to click at the right places and to actually do it, I thought, hey, this is pretty cool that you're actually forging your outfit instead of just clicking a button craft and it's done. I hope this gives stat boosts. I think it does, because like my gauntlets had like a plus in damage or something, so I hope it gets stat boosts if you do it really well. Another thing I think that's really dope is this gate entrance thingy. From the start area to the actual main area of the game, where you start doing the quests. Why do I think this is cool is because, I mean, it's a long run. Yeah, it's kind of boring, but it really feels like, hey, I'm stepping into the new world, and hey, I'm becoming an actual adventurer or whatever the fuck you are in this game, which I think is cool. So after you finish crossing this bridge, you get to the outpost of the Avalon, where you're told to do some quests, and that's where my appreciation for the game kind of dropped, because it might just be the beginner quests, but I didn't like them. So one of the two quests is escort, where you have to escort this huge NPC that takes damage from enemy NPCs. Now, there are two things I don't like about this. The fact it's kind of boring. That's just my opinion, though, so it's not, factual. However, something that I do hate about it is the NPCs' AIs. So the NPCs do not know how to climb. They are pretty brainless, as I can show you. Where if they're knocked down something, they kind of just stand there. And you're forced to go all the way down. Now, okay, this kind of pissed me off, but what finished it off was when the game just randomly shut down. It wasn't for an update. The game did not get updated. It wasn't announced or anything. It just randomly shut down, which really, really pissed me off. Now, you might ask, why did that piss me off? Well, when I rejoined the game, I had to walk all the way back, which was quite annoying. Now, the second part, or the second quest you can do, is a delivery contract. I generally like this one. However, it feels like it gives a lot less XP, so what you do is you have to grab this back, and you have to bring it to a tent. Quite simple, quite fast, and it gives bare minimum rewards, which, it's a lot easier of a quest to do, in my opinion, because the NPCs are, if you can't parry, they are quite, difficult to fight, and I almost died to them because I was too used to archived combat. Skill issue on my part. Now, moving on to combat itself, it feels like there's no weight behind my attacks. The game is in open testing, so yes, I hope this does change, but right now, for weapons like fist or sword, it genuinely feels like there's completely no weight or no effect to your attacks. This might be able to change in the future. I didn't get that far into the game, as I wanted to, make a beginner's view of the game. But for fist, it genuinely felt like I was just, punching nothing. Like, I wasn't even punching without any force, which felt really off. That's why I decided to swap to spear, which I think they did the spear very beautifully. Where the spear actually feels like you have weight behind your attacks. The parries, as you can see here, actually do feel strong, and it actually has a lot of screen shake. So yeah, that's the game for a beginner's view. Do I think it's worth playing? Yes, I genuinely do think this is worth picking up for the tester. I think it's 3 days, the open testing. So yeah, I generally do suggest you go play this and give it a shot and see it for yourself. Although I personally don't like parry-based combat. I more so like true stun with evasives like Peroxide's combat. I do think the combat, beside that it feels like it has no weight, it does feel smooth. I have to give him that. So yeah, I do recommend you give this a try. Discord link and game link will be in the description, so make sure to join that, and make sure to try out the game yourself, and let me know in the comments what you think of the game. If you want to see me play this game more, I'm going to record the game a bit more after this video for footage. If you guys say in the comments, hey, we don't want to see this game, we don't really care about it, then I will not release this footage. If you guys really do enjoy watching the game or want to see more about the game, let me know in the comments, and yeah, I'll make a video on it. One thing I do want to note is that I'm not attacking the game in any way, shape, or form, or the developers. I just give the feedback that I think that the game should. I do think I did not cover a lot of it, a lot of the small things that the game has to offer, and I do think that the devs actually care about the game, which I love to see. So, like, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't, then don't, and I'll see you on the next one.